Hi, I'm Bill Lynn. I'm the Vice President of Heritage Arsenal, and today we got an opportunity to talk about a Vietnam hero. So John D. Herron, who was the son of a West Point graduate and Army officer, was born in Alabama in 1934, ended up entering West Point and graduating with the class of 1958 as an infantry officer. He finds himself in 1965 in Vietnam commanding B Company, 1st Battalion, 7th Cavalry Division. Why are they famous? They're famous because of the fight on LZ X-Ray on the 14th, 15th of November 1965, where they took on 5 Vietnamese battalions and, despite the heavy casualties, came out victorious. And in that battle, actually, John D. Herron was awarded the Silver Star for gallantry, which we have a copy of his certificate as well as the citation that accompanies it. Interestingly enough, B Company and their actions on LZ X-Ray factored very heavily in the book We Were Soldiers Once and Young, as well as the movie starring Mel Gibson and Sam Elliott, We Were Soldiers. And it's the lost platoon of B Company, which Colonel Herron will tell you was not lost, it was merely cut off by the Vietnamese, was a desperate fight within the action on LZ X-Ray. After Colonel Herron receives the Silver Star for his actions there, he receives the Air Medal and the Commendation Medal and the Bronze Star. He returns home. In 1969-1970, he returns to Vietnam. It's during that tour that he wears this uniform. The uniform is the second pattern jungle uniform issued to the United States Army. And some of the interesting aspects of this next issue I'll talk about. In that first pattern jungle, you would have had epaulets here, you would have had tailoring tabs, and you would have had exposed buttons. All of that is gone by 1968. And the same with these pants, which match this jungle jacket. What's really interesting about this jungle jacket is the insignia on it. Beautiful made, in theater, made 1st Cavalry Division patch on the right shoulder, signifying his former wartime service in his tour in 1965-1966. As well, you see the MAC-V, which was his unit of assignment 6970, also theater made by some tailor in Vietnam that would have been making these patches, not through the U.S. supply system. I do believe these are U.S. made, which shows him as an aide-de-camp to a general officer as a major. But the Combat Infantryman's badge and the Basic Parachutist badge, definitely theater made, all the telltale signs of that. He had a printed U.S. name tape, and his U.S. Army and name tape, his name tape being missing, there's a story behind that. He actually donated this to a surplus store in Washington, D.C., hoping someone could do some yard work or paint their house in it. Thank God someone recovered this, knowing its historic significance, and now it's preserved for the future and for posterity. But anyway, this is the uniform worn by then Major, later retired as a full colonel, John D. Herron, West Point class of 68. What we do have for documentation is not only the Silver Star I showed you, a letter referencing the uniform dated 2016. We also have his entry in the Association of Graduates West Point Registry, which notes all of his unit of assignments throughout his career and decorations and awards received. But this is an interesting copy of a photograph of him with General Knowles. Now, General Knowles was the Assistant Division Commander of the 1st Cav, but was commanding the 1st Cav forward in Vietnam. So all elements of the 1st Cavalry Division forward fell under the command of General Knowles. General Knowles is in the center of this photograph. There is John D. Herron. And what's really interesting about this photograph, this was taken one day before they infiltrated by helicopter into LZ X-Ray and had that famous fight in the Ia Drang Valley. So a great opportunity to talk about an American hero from the Vietnam era and to appreciate a uniform that has survived since 1968 that is indicative of the very type worn and accoutred with theater-made insignia by our soldiers in Vietnam.